Hi everyone, welcome to the Movieception Show. My name is Fariba, and today Last of Us Episode 4 has now dropped, which means that we're just about less than halfway through the show, which is insane because, it's Last of Us has instantly become one of the most talked about shows in the last few weeks, and it's only been the beginning of 2023, and it's really just blown out of the waters just the expectations that we've had for this show, especially given how this is based on a video game. So there was like a lot of discussions even before that, and for the most part there has been positive reviews about the show. It's been up till last episode, there's been a lot of phrases for kind of how it's managed to keep up with more of what the games have already done, the accuracy of it. Although there have been some phrases for some of the changes that they have done, such as some of the prologues that we've had so far in this series. Of course, last week we did kind of deviate a little bit from Joel and Ellie's story to something that was more focused on Frank and Bill's love story. I got a lot of phrases, although of course there were some review bombs that happened here and there. But now we've kind of established more of Joel's goals moving forward. It seems like moving forward we're going to be more focused on Joel and Ellie's journey from this point on, and that's something that we did get from the previews for episode 4, and so it looks like we're about to encounter their first challenge going into sort of this journey of theirs. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started with Last of Us episode 4. Oh man, well, she now has a gun now. She seems really excited with the gun.
Travels against gravity because pressure.
You don't know.
I know it works. No wandering.
Doesn't matter how much you push the envelope, it'll still be stationary. No pun intended.
He looks so confused.
But Livingston.
Oh my
Volume
god.
2. Look, you get it? 2? Like TOO?
Oh my god.
What did the mermaid write in her math class? An algebra. Algebra.
Oh my god, look at the way he's looking at
all
her.
night,
No.
wondering where the sun went. And then it dawned on me.
Feel free to wait in the truck.
Oh, look at how he's looking at her.
He can't
Oh my
skateboard
god.
soon. He'll be back. There's nothing you can do to stop him.
Oh, they're already acting like father and daughter.
Nostalgic?
Hank
It's actually
Williams.
before my time.
Right.
It's a winner though.
I saw the light. Oh, I know this one.
That's something else.
This is the one they played in the trailer.
No. Put that back. That's not for kids.
How do you even walk around with that thing?
Please get rid of it.
Hold your horses. I want to see what all the fuss is about. Why are all these pages stuck together? I just fucking with you.
Oh my god, she's hungry.
Slow down.
This is slow. What am I even eating?
That.
In fact, you don't see the smoke.
No. Fungus isn't that smart. This is too remote for infected anyway.
People?
Oh.
So what are they gonna do, rob us?
Well-
Actually smells kind of good.
Well, that would be Frank's then.
Oh, don't tell me she's gonna read more of those puns.
Did the Scarecrow get an award?
Because he was outstanding in his field.
You dick! Did you read this?
No. Go
Oh.
to sleep.
Oh. Don't tell me that's the one that Sarah said. Oh my god. He's being a dad. He's making coffee. Oh, he's definitely gonna need that.
Is that seriously what those Starbucks liqueurs he used to sell?
Well, theirs was a lot fresher than what Bill saved up, but yeah, this is what they sold.
It smells like burnt shit.
Diane.
Really? Cheyenne, Laramie.
Aw, he's
Casper?
correcting her.
What's his name?
Whose name?
Your brother.
When Tommy meets Marlene, she talks me to joining the Fireflies. Same mistake he made when he was 18. Wants to save the world. Pipe dream, him, Fireflies, all of them. Delusional.
Shit.
Of course, last I heard he quit.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on? I mean, you gotta try, right?
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know. Keep going for family. That's about it.
I'm not family.
No. Your cargo. But I made a promise to Tess. And she was like family. Put your seatbelt on.
Are we gonna help him?
No.
Like Sarah. No. No.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You're not hurt, nothing.
I don't think so.
That's all fast! You go, you crawl to that wall, and you squeeze through, and you don't come out until I say, okay? They're not gonna hit you. Believe me! They're not gonna hit you.
Oh my jeez.
Stay down, you stay low, you stay quiet.
Oh shit. Nice, Joe. She's gonna use a gun, isn't she?
Wait.
Oh my god, Joe.
You can have it. It's a good night.
Oh shit.
Ellie, this has gone too far. It has to stop.
Oh,
What has to
okay.
stop now, you mean? Now that you're in the cell. But before, people dying was okay. When you were safe and protected and ratting on your neighbors to Fedra.
They put a gun to my head.
Here. Have I satisfied the necessary conditions for you to talk?
Oh, she's gonna do it. Oh, she's gonna execute him now, isn't he? She. Oh man.
Open it.
You know what?
This is Header, and kill them all.
Oh shit.
I'm all right. Are you all right?
Oh, okay. This is like the first time he's actually expressed concern.
Thing is, I didn't hear that guy.
Oh man, he's really trying to.
Yeah, you really aren't.
I mean,
Man. Oh god.
It wasn't my first time.
Oh, are we talking about Riley by any chance? I know that's a name that comes up a lot. Oh, he's teaching her how to use a gun. Oh.
Show me your grip. Finger off the trigger. Now, who taught you that?
Federal school.
Figures. Thumb. Over your thumb. Left hand. Squeezes down on the right. Got it?
Aww.
Okay.
In a really weird way, but yeah. Aww. Ah. So confused.
They're out of food. Henry won't let Sam starve. Double the guards around our provisions. He's fucking close. I can feel it.
Yeah.
What?
Pretty sure that's not them, but okay. What I meant to say is that that wasn't Joel and Ellie up there in that. What?
Fuck! The building for now. Okay?
What is that?
Yeah.
Is that like an infected growing underground or something? What is that?
Ellie.
Birds be without me, huh?
Why now, Wyoming?
Oh, yeah. Walked into that one. Hey, you know that guy who said he was hurt? How did you know it was an ambush?
I've been on both sides. It was a long time ago. We did what we needed to survive.
You and Tess?
And the people we were with. My brother, too.
Did you kill innocent people?
Come on.
Come on.
Give me a minute.
Get up, you lazy ass.
Lazy ass. 56 years old, you little shit.
Man, everything's so dark.
What did you mean it wasn't your first time?
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm gonna assume that's about Riley. That's the vibe I'm getting. But Riley or her mom? Because I'm aware her mom's gonna be in the show, but yeah.
You don't have to. I'm just saying.
Oh, he's being a dad.
It isn't fair. Your age. Having to deal with all of this.
You'd hear the glass or not, because I've noticed you don't hear too well from your right side. Is it because you were shot there?
Probably more from shooting. So.
Did you know diarrhea is hereditary?
What?
Shit.
Yeah. It runs in your genes.
The pun intended. Oh my god, he's smiling! Oh my god, he's smiling. He's smiling. Oh my god. Oh.
That is so goddamn stupid.
You laughed,
I
motherfucker.
didn't laugh.
Yes, you did.
Jesus, I'm losing it.
You're losing it big time.
Oh my god. Oh my god, is this the first time he's been smiling in 20 years? Oh, my heart hurts.
Joel!
Shit. Shit. Who was that? That was episode 4 of The Last of Us, and this one was definitely a bit of an interesting one because we've so far in the show, right? Like, at least for me, like, I was anticipating that we're gonna get more of Joel and Ellie's relationship and explore more of that, and it did take a while to really get sort of that main focus into it, especially because the last episode was very focused on Frank and Bill and not more so towards Joel and Ellie. But we've seen sort of some of the turning points of where we're starting to see, Joel getting, softening up to Ellie. And now here it is in this episode, we really start to kind of see more of what is the relationship, how they're getting kind of slowly closer, although of course Joel is still kind of keeping that reservation with himself because of, his trauma from before, from 20 years ago when he lost Sarah, and the last thing he needs is like another person to get close to. Yet like we're already seeing sort of like this father-daughter relationship in this episode. So getting right down to that, so of course when we get into this episode, right, like we instantly notice that of course like Joel is trying to keep this reservation. He doesn't want to get close to Ellie. He set up those 3 rules from the last episode before that, hey, don't ask about my life, don't ask about your life, don't tell people. We know all those like 3 rules, right? And we heard that from the last episode, and now it's like, okay, well, here it is. Even though they're supposed to kind of keep their reservation in mind, trying to keep things to themselves, we're starting to really see more of the exploration of their relationship, right? And the more and more I watch this episode, the more and more I'm really enjoying it, because I know that, like, again, like, I really wanted to get into the depths of Joel and Ellie's like relationship, their journey that's going to set up the rest of the series, of course. I believe with this storyline, like the character that Melanie Linsky is playing I believe is one of the newer characters, so I'm really curious how this would set up more of their journey that's going on moving forward. But knowing that they're in this deep situation, you can see more and more how like Joel is getting closer to Ellie, and even though like he doesn't want to get close to her, we keep seeing him having more of these fatherly moments, even if it's like really bad, like fatherly types of things, like even if his parenting in a sense, quote unquote, isn't the best way of pursuing it, right? Or trying to handle some of the things like speaking about death, or trying to get her to understand like the life of everything, right? Like even if he does suck at it, we can definitely sense from this how more and more he's loosening up to Ellie, and they're starting to kind of develop more of this father-daughter relationship. And just even in those final moments, right? I believe that's the first time he smiled in 20 years, which I feel like that's basically kind of not the turning point, but just like the change of like how, I guess you can say a huge part of Joel's character development going forward, that having been through all this, like how he feels like he's being forced into doing this operation, and that this is his only way of finding his brother Tommy, that he's finally softening up, he's smiling again. It seems like it's as if he is also in himself finding some sense of humanity and a purpose, right? I think that's where the last episode really plays a big part of that. I know a lot of people, in terms of like how the episode wasn't really like Joel and Ellie focused, that it did deviate from like the main storyline, but I mean for the most part it did serve one purpose, and that is that this is what is supposed to be the push for Joel to continue on his journey, like not just leave Ellie there at Bill's house and let him sort it out. Like this is where we start to see him, okay, well, Bill is gone, Frank is gone, there's, nowhere else to go. The only option he has left is to find Tommy, who probably has the best connection to the Fireflies, even if he is no longer a part of the organization. This is now the push. The last episode was the push that, what, I'm going to continue this journey. I'm going to deliver Ellie, even if, whether or not I believe in the mumbo jumbo crap or whatnot, right? I'm going to deliver her, and now I have a purpose for it. Especially because, again, he's seen that Ellie is immune. As much as he doesn't want to believe it, she's immune, right? Like, there's no denying that. I think he can't really deny that, right? And with that being, Tess's final wish, the last thing he needs to do is just, break that promise, right? Like, the last promise that he has, left for his family. And it's really interesting how he brings up family, right? Because in that car ride, he talks to Ellie, and they go into a whole like conversation about, oh well, I'm not your family, and yet you're still going on this journey, and you want to deliver me, and what, so on and so forth, right? And a lot of people, and in this case, right, like if you're alone in this world, like what else do you have, in this world to really continue to live, right? And he's like, well, family is what the push is. And even though he's not really admitted to Ellie as part of his family, he admits like Tommy and in a sense Tess, basically. It's really interesting that they do kind of talk about that, because I'm going to assume that later on he's going to consider Ellie more as a family, someone who we would consider as a family member. Again, considering that they are getting more and more closer to each other as like more of this father-daughter bonding. Again, the more that you see sort of how Ellie is like getting up to Joel, the more you kind of see his face just starting to kind of lighten up, how he's, in a sense, you can tell that he's thinking about Sarah. Like, you can really sense how he's really thinking about Sarah, how she could have been here and all that sort of stuff, how this is probably how he remembers the good old times when he was with his daughter, right? Just like, just the stupid stuff, like whether it be like the puns or trying to teach how to use a gun or whatnot. You can definitely sense how he is really kind of feeling more of that fatherly role again, even though he doesn't want to feel that. But, and not just that, but I think the more he's getting closer to Ellie, the fact is that it kind of is a foreshadow of like, oh, he's probably going to consider Ellie not just a cargo, not just a package, but more so a family member as we get more and more into these episodes, right? So that's something that I really want to discuss, because I think that this is probably the highlight of this episode. The more that we are seeing the relationship between Ellie and Joel, the more we start to see them getting closer to basically a father-daughter relationship that we all expected it to kind of build up to. And I really enjoyed sort of this interaction between them. And that's just one thing I wanted to mention. So that was one thing that I had in mind. Another thing I have is, of course, kind of what is going on in this group that is in Kansas City. I believe that's where they are in. And I have a lot of questions about it, because, again, I'm not too familiar with the games. I don't know what really happens in the games. I don't know which parts are part of the games and which parts are new, aside from Melanie Linsky, who I believe her character is one of the newer characters. Aside from that, I don't know anything else, but I do have a lot of questions. Who are these people? They don't seem to be Fedra. They don't seem to be Fireflies. Who are they? It seems like as if they were kind of a freedom group in a sense, where, because, again, I mean, let's face it, Fedra is sort of a dictator in this sort of world where they're controlling what people can and cannot do, what they can, and setting up these regulations, how they can, school these kids, right? That's sort of the idea that we're getting out of Fedra. And it seems like this is a group that, had uprising against them and formed their own sort of society in a sense. I mean, I don't know if you can say society, or I don't want to say civilization either, but I mean, I guess in their own way, like their own group. And the character Melanie Linsky is playing as a leader, so quote unquote. So I have a lot of questions about that. I feel like we're gonna dive more into that, since we saw what happened in the end, that whole storyline hasn't been resolved yet. But definitely have a lot of questions about that. Another one is like, what is that thing that is like lingering in that basement room, or the room, right? What is that? I'm assuming that's like some sort of cordyceps like infection that's like growing deep inside, and it's probably growing even to maybe worse than what it is, like a clicker. I'm gonna assume that's what it is, like almost like a whole new like evolved monster, I'm going to guess. Like, I have no idea what is down there. There's a lot of questions about that. I'm gonna assume that that's going to be sort of one of the big points going into the rest of the season. Like, maybe by next episode or so, we're probably gonna get this reveal of what that thing is lying in that, underneath the concrete road sort of thing. Again, don't know what that is. Lots of questions about that. And of course, again, like the last question is going to be, who are these guys that, basically caught Ellie and Joel? Like, who are they? Are they part of the group that they had just, tried to flee? Are they another different group that happens to also be kind of like, a opponent against the group that they're dealing with in Kansas City? Lots of questions about that. I think that in terms of who we are dealing with, there are a lot more mysteries behind it in this episode than we did in previous ones. Like, I believe that we're hopefully by the next episode we'll start to understand who they are, what their motives are, what they're doing, whether or not the two boys that just caught Joel and Ellie, are they also part of them, or is there another group that's also associated with them? Are they the Fireflies that maybe that may be still hiding beneath the whole organization? Lots of questions about that. That's something that I hope that maybe they'll address by the next episode or so. Again, like, I think that that's probably the one thing that I wish they could have discussed more of. But yeah, I think for the most part, this has been a really solid episode. Again, I think the highlight has been Joel and Ellie's relationship and their journey so far, which is, I think, what everyone has been waiting for a long time, especially since episode 2, where we saw what happened with Tess. We've been wanting to see more of this sort of this highlight, this emphasis of Joel and Ellie's story. We did get a little bit of that in episode 3, but episode 3, again, it was more so just focused on 2 other characters, and then just, again, the push for Joel. Whereas this one, we really start to see the beginning of the relationship, kind of like what's setting it up more and more. And hopefully, again, I mean, at this point, like, it seems like that's going to continue to be the focus moving forward. So in the last 5 episodes that we do have, that's probably what's going to be the focus of hey, we're going to continue on with this Joel and Ellie storyline. Their focus, this is going to be the premise of it all, and see how that relationship evolves each episode, as well as hopefully, again, they'll distress more of the mysteries behind that group that they're dealing with in Kansas City. I think this is a pretty solid episode, of course. I think in comparison to the other ones, it is a bit more of a mellow. I wouldn't rank it as I wouldn't rank it as the best episode so far, just because we are kind of dealing with a whole different group where we have a lot more questions and answers, and like, again, but I think overall, again, it's a really solid episode for what it is. It really sets up a whole different danger that they're dealing with now that they are moving more and more into kind of this inland of the United States that isn't like Fedra QZ, right? Like, that is moving further away from Boston. And again, hopefully we'll start to see more of what's going to happen. We'll explore more of what's going on in this world beyond Boston QZ, as well as, again, seeing how Joel and Ellie grow throughout this whole journey. So that's all I really have to say about this episode. Again, it's a pretty solid one. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I think as of this point, episode 2 is probably my favorite so far, followed by episode 1 and then 3 and then this one. I did enjoy episode 3. I just think that, again, like, it did deviate a little bit from the other 2 episodes. That I kind of was a bit of, like, I wouldn't say annoying factor, but it was something that I just, I would want to continue focusing on Joel and Ellie, because that is sort of how this, whole journey is supposed to be set up for. And again, this is a pretty solid episode that does set that up. I just think that, as we are getting more and more into it, we'll start to see more of these answers coming in. Again, I think this is just sort of setting up a new act. So I would say that at this point, we are in the second act of what is this whole season that we're going into, now that, again, we finished sort of the exposition of, hey, we started off the outbreak, Tess's death, and then, of course, the push that, that basically gets Joel to continue his journey. And now we're going to sort of this middle ground of the story that is the second act of this whole series. That, okay, now we're going into deeper and deeper into this dangerous zone of the United States, which means having to deal with groups that may not be either Fedra or Fireflies, and therefore there's gonna be more challenges ahead of them as we get more into it. Again, I think that this is a really good way of showing more of what's going on, and there's world building of what is happening in The Last of Us. I think that's really crucial to giving us this perspective of it, which I really enjoy. And again, I think with this new challenge, this new viewpoint of like, hey, we have now a new group that's now countering Joel and Ellie. I think that really sets up more of that world building there. Of course, again, the way that it does end, we don't know what's going to happen because, again, Joel and Ellie are just hiding at this point. We don't really get any answers to what's really going on and who this Harry guy is and what this group is up to and why they're doing all this, right? Other than the fact that they are probably, from what it sounds like a group that, it's, I guess, in a freedom fighter group in a sense, or like a group that really wanted to get independence from like all of that, dictatorship, that, forced government that they were dealing with. And that's probably what led to this. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. I think that's all I can really think of. Again, really enjoying the Joel and Ellie relationship so far. I think we're really starting to get more of Ellie in this episode, especially since now that, that's been sort of what a lot of people have been commenting about, like, can we see more of Ellie? And I think that we really start to see more of Ellie show herself more, kind of her vulnerabilities as well. So I think that's a really big point as well when we get into it. Again, a big part of what's playing into the relationship and how Joel is sort of guiding Ellie to not just, trying to deliver her, but also trying to, help her out as like a kid who's still trying to understand this world, right? Again, showing more of that father-daughter relationship. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about this episode. A pretty solid one. I look forward to seeing the next one where we get to see, hopefully get more of these answers that's going to, what's going on in Kansas City, what's going to happen, what does this mean for Joel and Ellie, and yeah. And hopefully then, like, this will set up to what will be eventually the conclusion of this first season, right? So that's all I have to say about that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. How did you enjoy episode 4? How would you compare that to the first 3 episodes? What are your thoughts so far? What are your questions, knowing that we are now dealing with a new group? Do you know who they are? What do you think is kind of happening in this whole scenario, this whole situation? What are the changes that they are planning to make from the video games? If you are aware of it, and please, no spoilers, as much as you can. I really want to go into this show just, as blunt as possible without having to go deep into the video games. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are with that. Let me know what you think about Joel and Ellie's relationship so far. Have you wanted this to happen? How do you feel about it? Have they really kind of started the good beginnings of what is now going to sort of be the father-daughter relationship? Let me know in the comments down below, and make sure to like and subscribe.